What's going on, guys? Scar here, and today I actually got a cool video for you guys. I have a tips and tricks video for Dead by Daylight, and I'm just gonna kind of bring out my best tips and tell you how I kind of got good at this game. I'm like 40 hours into the game currently, and I've been having a blast, and unfortunately recently I haven't had enough time to play as much as I would have liked to, but my schedule's changed and I have my PC for a few days of the week, and yeah, so not always able to record and get on a video, but I was able to get on and make 2 videos for this weekend, so it's pretty cool. So I have 5 tips for you guys and just kind of basic stuff that I followed and how I kind of got good, and I'm just gonna show you this gameplay because it was kind of easy, but at the same time like it's still challenging because these were good players. They had strategy, but I was able to outsmart them in some way. So, my first tip I got for you is to really learn your killer. Like, depending on who you choose as a killer, um, learn their perks, learn like their strategy to like how to use them with their like special ability, because every killer has a special ability that you can use to outsmart your survivors or your victims, if you want to call them that. Just try to use them. Like, for example, I'm using the knight in here, and I didn't use the strategy a lot in this commentary or this gameplay. But what I usually do is when they drop a pallet or something, or when they're in a close corner, or they have like a close runaway point, what I do is I spawn my knight friend like around them or ahead of them. So when they're running that way or they're trying to escape, my knight gets their attention, hits them once, or the other way I could do it is I can have him block a certain exit or entrance, and then I can get the survivor before they do. So you can kind of outsmart them because it's really easy to have a 2-on-1. The knight is definitely not the best killer in this game, but he's one of my favorites because he's probably the second I will have prestige to 1. And he has some decent perks, but he's definitely not the best in the game in general, but I like him personally. Um, Second thing I have is the right perks, and make sure to choose your right perks. But one thing is that if you prestige a killer in this game to 1 or something, you can actually get access to their perks for every killer, I'm pretty sure. And I've already done that with the knight, because if I check my blood web or I check my loadout, I'm using Sloppy Butcher and Barbecue and Chili and Franklin's Demise from the Cannibal, because actually no, Sloppy Butcher isn't a perk from the Cannibal, but Barbecue and Chili and Franklin's Demise are. He's from Leatherface in this game, and I prestiged him to 1, and I'm able to use him in with this killer. So you can do that with any other killer, and that's actually pretty cool, and I like that because Barbecue and Chili is actually a pretty good perk, because when you hook a survivor, you have a few seconds to actually see other survivors' auroras for like few seconds, like 4 seconds, and from a certain like range, which is pretty cool because they might be close to you. So like that's a good advantage. But yeah, it's cool to use other perks from other people. So depending on what perks you really want for your killer, I recommend like prestiging them, so then you also have access to that perk in any other killer. But depending on the playstyle you have with that specific killer, you can use whatever perks you choose. That's what I recommend personally. So my other perk I have is, oh, I lost it. My other perk is Don't Camp, and I don't camp too much in this game. Usually if I'm like kind of getting tilted, which I don't usually, but if I do get tilted in this game, I might camp like the last survivor or like the second to last survivor, so like they don't have a chance. Because if they're close to generators or something, or they already have an exit, I try to get something out of it. Because as long as I have something like 1 or 2 kills or sacrifices, then I'm basically satisfied with my game. And but if I get like no kills, then that's unsatisfying. And the 13th already came around, and I started playing again, and I already have some emblems for the killers, because I had some pretty good games recently with the Knight and Michael Myers, 2 killers I've been playing recently. So yeah, I just don't camp really, but if you have a killer that does need to camp, I guess you could, but it's kind of frowned upon in this game. Like with Leatherface, he's kind of slow when you're using the chainsaw, because if you miss your hit with the chainsaw and you're in a very closed area with like stones and rocks, and he hits it, it will do like a tantrum type thing, and he'll like slow down for like 2 to 3 seconds, and you don't want that, because you always want to stay on your survivor's tail, so they don't get away or anything. So that's just a tip. But if you do need to camp, whatever you gotta do. Next, sensitivity, and I picked in the beginning when I first started playing. I think I used 5 or 6. I think I used 6, and that's like the easiest. I wouldn't really go lower or like higher than like 8 or 9, because going there is a bit too high. But I mean, if you're like OP and you're really good at like doing 360s and stuff with high sensitivities, then I guess you can. But for me, right now I'm sticking at like 8. But when I started, I was at like 5 or 6. So go a bit slow, but then when you get a bit faster and better at the game, then you can go to higher sensitivities, and it will feel more satisfying when you hit people in the game or anything like that. So I definitely recommend adjusting that later when you're playing the game. And finally, my final perk is looping. Now, if you guys don't know what looping is, some people call it looping, some people just call it like playing around with your victims. And basically what that is when you're in a spot where like they drop a pallet or something, or when there's something between you and your survivor, you try to make smart plays to like either get them around or trick them when you're going a certain direction, and they go that direction, and just basically trying to juke them or kind of outplay them in other words. So just basically trying to outplay your opponent in any sort of way, strategy, I recommend. So yeah, that's basically all the perks I have currently, or all the strategies I have currently. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Comment down below if you guys want to see more Dead by Daylight videos like this. I don't usually do this. I'm mainly talking about Call of Duty, because there's a lot to talk about, but at the same time, there's not a lot to talk about, which is why I'm making this video. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video later this week. Peace.